We're on.
Hi ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Adventures with Grant. Today I have with me Adrian and we're going to go for a little walk, make some coffee and you'll get to know Adrian. Let's do it. So while we're walking, Adrian, how long have you been in the coffee industry, mate?
Quite long actually. I stopped counting the years, but I think I'm up to 8 years now.
8 years now?
Yeah, 8 years.
Wow. And what got you into it? What got you involved?
Well, I was living in London and I needed a job.
Fair enough.
Like most people who end up working in the service industry.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine who had worked in coffee said, well, just go into any coffee shop. You don't even need to bring a CV. Just tell them you want to work and you'll do anything and they'll hire you straight away. So I was like, okay, well, I'll give that a shot. So I went into a couple of different coffee shops. I did bring a CV just in case. And within a week, I already had 2 job offers.
Nice.
So it turns out that getting a job in coffee is pretty easy.
There you go.
Once I actually got the job, I found out that it wasn't that easy because as the newbie, I was the busboy.
Exactly.
I was doing
start at the bottom.
I was doing the dishes. I was cleaning the toilets, doing all the dirty work.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even let me touch coffee for the first month.
Right, but let's keep moving on. From that moment though, now you're Norway's best.
2 years in a row, actually.
2 years in a row, exactly.
Yeah.
Right, so when we get to the bridge,
Yeah.
I think you're going to present a few things for us.
Yeah.
And maybe take us through a little bit of that journey of, well, not just starting as a barista, but becoming the best in Norway.
Yeah, if you'd asked me when I started as a busboy, I probably wouldn't have guessed. My ambitions were not that high at that time.
So what were you thinking at the time? Was like, I just want a job and...
Yeah, just at first it was just, I need a job. I need to pay bills. So I started doing that. And then after a while, learning more about coffee, getting to, touch the machines and make stuff. And then after a while, it's just like, you know what, this is really fun. This is actually more fun than what I was originally doing, which was studying to become a writer.
Right.
And then when I got back to Norway and, what I thought, what's my next step going to be? Am I going to try and make a career for myself writing, which is very uncertain, or am I going to keep working in coffee? And I ended up keeping on with coffee. And now I don't regret 1 second of it.
No, well, why would you? You seem to be doing quite well with it. Once becoming one of Norway's best, I hear you also roast your own coffee.
Yes. So I was going to say, long story short, my first few years competing didn't actually go very well, which obviously they didn't.
To be expected, I guess.
To be expected. Yeah. And then the year before last, I decided that what I needed was to kind of present something that was entirely my own.
Right.
So I decided I'm going to roast my own coffee. So I bought a 1 kilo coffee roaster.
Cool.
Just started playing around with it, trial and error, figuring out how to roast coffee. And then, come competition 2019, roasted my own coffee, presented it on stage with as much passion as I could muster, and it worked.
Fantastic.
The judges liked it. They liked what I was serving and what I was saying, and I won.
Cool.
So I thought, okay, well, this is good.
Yeah.
I'll keep doing this. And then
too easy.
Yeah, well, no, not too easy. I mean, at the time, I was not expecting to win, so I felt like a bit of an underdog.
Right.
Because all of these other ones, they had coffee from Tim Wendelboe and from all the great big roasteries in Norway, and they had super expensive coffees. I just had a coffee that I roasted at home on a 1 kilo little roaster.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Right, so here we are, we're at the bridge. Why don't we plonk ourselves down, mate, and let's get into some brewing. Yeah. And you can tell us about the coffees you're going to brew and
stuff.
What your favourite coffee is in the, when...
Let's just, let's keep it informal. Let's just sit down.
Very informal. We're going to just plonk our butts down here and make some coffee.
Yeah.
It's quite a nice day for a coffee, isn't it? Would you recommend coffee on a day like today?
I recommend coffee every day.
I imagine you would.
It's great for parties, for the mornings, just whenever.
The morning after?
Yeah. If you're thirsty, have a coffie.
Right, fair enough.
No, that's actually a terrible idea. Coffee can dehydrate you, so
not too much.
I think have a coffee when you want to relax and enjoy yourself. Don't substitute water for coffee.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So stick with water.
Stick with water when you're thirsty.
Coffee when you want to have a treat.
Yeah, it's a treat. That's what it's supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah.
So while you're brewing here, going through this industry,
Yeah.
I imagine there's a few pitfalls and a few negative things that happen as well.
Yeah.
Do you want to, give a few thoughts on what you maybe don't like about the industry, or what's affected you, or things you've had to?
Yeah. Well, it's not really a career for most of the people who work in it. It's mostly students, part-timers. If you're a young person in Norway, you'd be lucky to get anything more than like a 20% position, and the pay historically has been quite low. So most people who work in this industry, they end up kind of not necessarily burning out, but they end up having to find a real job.
Right.
And then there's the few lucky ones like me who managed to kind of show enough initiative and dedication to kind of climb the ranks, and kind of has a little bit of motivation to go a bit above and beyond, and then kind of end up becoming like a manager or starting their own company, or doing something apart from just bussing tables and serving lattes every day.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of my biggest disappointments with the coffee industry, is it's not really an adult career
Right.
path,
but
not like being a waiter or a
But it could be,
bartender.
right?
It could be, yeah.
Yeah.
With
But
the right...
do you think it's about the passion that you have, or just the opportunities and getting lucky?
It's I think with the right amount of dedication and passion, you can start your own business.
Right.
So you could become your own boss. You can start a cafe. You can start a bakery or something. And then
Did you feel that early on?
I did, yeah. When I came to Norway and I saw kind of what the offering was, and realised that there's a lot of potential here, because I came from one of the best coffee shops in London, which is called Workshop Coffee. So what was the norm there that was kind of drilled into me very, very early on. When I came to Norway, I found out that they were so far behind.
Right.
So
you had an opportunity to teach people.
That I was taking for granted, they hadn't even thought of yet.
Right.
So I thought, okay, we can make some really awesome coffee here in
Great.
Norway. And then I started, thinking about what to do and how to do this, and I teamed up with some people, and we started Jacobsen Svart, the coffee shop there, and kind of started making, high-end coffee for people in Trondheim, and a lot of people liked it. So
Fantastic.
it's definitely possible. I was 24 at the time, 24, 25.
Nice.
Yeah, so you don't have to be like super experienced. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to have 1 million kroners in the bank. Like you can actually start your own cafe with quite little, and just a lot of kind of guts,
Passion,
and
dedication, and guts. I think that's a pretty important point.
Do
you want to crack on and brew some coffee while we're chatting?
Yes.
So we don't want to...
Coffee's there.
There you go.
Need my water.
So do you want to talk us through this process as well?
Well, this is probably more fancy than what most people would have at home.
Definitely me.
In essence, this is just like a regular filter drip type of brewer. Yeah. So it's not as fancy as it looks. This is just kind of the portable version of it.
Right.
The kettle that I'm using is called a gooseneck kettle. That's just to help me control the pours, really.
Okay.
It doesn't actually do much,
right?
Apart from looking very nice.
So it's just a kettle.
Yeah, this is literally.
There's nothing.
I'm literally just pouring water onto coffee through a filter.
So do we take coffee too seriously when people are talking about it and talking about the high-end stuff and things like that?
It doesn't have to be like a lot of people in my industry talk about coffee like it's wine,
right?
And it's not. It's never going to be. So let's stop trying to make that happen.
I like that coming from Norway's best barista.
Let's instead focus on talking about coffee like coffee, and let's try to make coffee happen.
Cool.
Trying to make it be something else isn't really going to help our industry move forward, because it's always going to come off like we're trying to be
something
the wine
we're
industry.
not, maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
I think just like start simple. Talk about coffee like the thing that you drink every single day. Yep. Everyone has a.
But there are better ways to do it. You can get flavors and things. So maybe you want to talk a little bit about that.
Well,
so what do we got today?
This coffee is the coffee that I used in the Norwegian Championship this year in February. So this is the winning coffee.
There you go.
It is from a farm that's relatively young in Ethiopia called Geisha Village Coffee Estate. And it's known for producing a type of coffee known as the Geisha variety, which is super expensive, very, very highly sought after in the industry, because it produces very tea-like flavors.
Okay.
So you can get a coffee that tastes like, bergamot or rose or jasmine.
Wow.
And if you're a coffee connoisseur, that's the kind of thing that makes you go apeshit wanting to try it, because normally coffee is bitter and sour and foul.
Right.
So
that's why we have milk and sugar, isn't it?
Yeah, so finding something that's kind of nice is very rare. So people will pay astronomical amounts for this this coffee. And one of the geisha varieties that was sold from a farm in Panama kind of broke all the records for how much you can sell a coffee for. And I think it was in the several $1,000s
per kilo?
Per pound.
Per pound, right.
So it's a quarter of a kilo.
Wow.
So it's really expensive.
Is it worth it?
Absolutely not. You can get just as good coffee.
Are you going to get in trouble for saying these things in the coffee world?
Probably, yeah. There's a lot of hype.
Right.
But obviously I went for a geisha variety for my competition and roasted it as well as I could, and I won. So
there you go.
Obviously it's a good coffee and roasted right, brewed right. It makes a delicious brew.
Fantastic.
But it doesn't necessarily make a 10 or 100 times better cup of coffee than another coffee from Africa.
And that comes down to the brewing technique, I guess, and timing and things like that. Yeah.
So so I roasted this coffee, brought it to Oslo for the championship. Had to compete in 2 rounds, semi-finals, and 3 rounds.
Right.
Like preliminaries, semi-final, finals.
Yep.
And every single time I went on stage, you don't know that you're going to win. You don't even want to think about the possibility because it's so scary.
Right.
Because you have all this stuff that you've prepared. You have a script, a story you want to tell. You have a coffee that you've prepared. You want to kind of present this coffee as well as you can. You want to kind of tell the farmer's story. You want to explain to the judges, what flavors are they going to experience? What's this coffee going to be like? But you don't really know if it's going to be good. You've tasted it yourself, obviously, but how can you be sure if you haven't tested it on other people? So for every single round, I just thought, do your best, and if it's not good enough, don't be sad. If you did your best, that's
all you can do.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I'm sure that's easier to do the more you do the competitions as
exactly,
well.
yeah.
Where you just relax through them, right?
Just try and breathe. Remember that it's just a competition. It's not
exactly.
It's not life or death. If you mess up a coffee, nobody's going to get hurt.
No,
it's
exactly.
It's going to be shitty for a few days, and then you'll get over it. So getting through each round, and then eventually being there for the announcement, and then they start calling out the numbers. They start with the 6th place person, 5th place, 4th place, and then when they get to 3rd place and they still haven't called my name, I'm like, holy shit!
I'm either out or I'm in.
Yeah, is it gonna did I do it? Is it gonna be? Is it gonna be 2nd place? Is it gonna be 1st place?
Yeah.
And then when they announce the 2nd place, and they call someone else,
then
it's just me left. So
that's nice.
Yeah. That feeling is pretty amazing.
Yeah, and winning those competitions, is that what gave you the confidence to start your own business now and start roasting?
Yeah. After winning twice with coffee that I've roasted myself, it kind of gave me the kick in the butt to think, maybe I can roast coffee. Maybe I'm not actually that bad.
Right.
Because both times I felt like the underdog. Because
Right.
I was the only one roasting my own coffee. I was doing it at home. Don't really have any kind of formal experience or training roasting coffee.
Yeah.
So I thought if I can do this, it's amazing, but don't delude yourself into thinking you're any good just because you won a competition.
Yeah.
It might have been luck.
Yeah.
But then after the 2nd time, I thought, maybe
I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, it's a very Norwegian thing. We don't want to think that we're any good. Even when all the evidence points to the contrary, we're still like, but don't get too far.
Don't get too far ahead of yourself.
Yeah, don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah. So how long do we have to wait for this coffee?
It's pretty much done now.
Okay.
It's just been.
Did you bring some little tasters?
I brought some cups.
Lovely.
Would you like the bow tie or the moustache?
Definitely a bow tie.
Bow tie for you. Moustache for me. There we go.
I need to make myself look a bit more presentable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instant bow tie. There we go. So this is the geisha village.
Okay.
It is, I roasted it for sweetness, whereas most people would roast it for the tea-like kind of floral notes, trying to bring out those rose attributes. And I was like, well, a geisha coffee has a lot of that already. So why would you try and bring out what's already there in abundance? So instead, I thought, let's bring out the sweetness. Let's give the coffee something to balance out those kind of bitter herbal tea-like notes. So I got something that I thought was quite good. It's sweet. Tastes like blood orange and jasmine.
Awesome. Let's give it a go. Cheers, mate.
Oh yeah.
That's lovely.
So you can probably tell the kind of the floral notes that people go crazy for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's very smooth.
Yeah, to me, like the first note is like orange rind, like a very floral orange rind. Yeah, second sip, very smooth, not too dark, just like
No,
a
not at all.
nice round.
Absolutely, I think that's
yeah.
what I noticed the most. You know, I'm not a big coffee drinker, but definitely noticed that lovely round, smooth
Yeah,
texture to the coffee.
yeah,
Lovely.
nice. Yeah,
Very,
one
very
thing
nice.
that I thought when I decided to start my own roasting business was almost every specialty coffee roastery in Norway roasts very light.
Right.
So everyone else in the world thinks that they're on the extreme end of the spectrum, roasting, almost under roasting the coffee.
Right.
And then the rest of the world, they do dark roast.
Right.
So I thought, well, there's room here for a middle ground.
There's a middle ground.
Yeah, there is a middle
yeah.
ground. You don't have to roast it super light, and you don't have to roast it super dark. There's a nice place in the middle where the coffee is smooth, it's sweet, it's very easy to drink, and that's where I like to be.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely lovely. All right, mate. Now we're going to round off
Yeah.
this little segment with in the last year.
Yeah.
What is your most embarrassing moment?
My most embarrassing moment.
And if you can't find one in the last year, your whole life.
Yeah. Ooh. That's a difficult question. I don't tend to dwell too much on embarrassing moments. Usually I'll kind of brush it off and keep going, yeah. Because if I'd stopped to think too much about the embarrassing moments, I probably wouldn't have made so many, like I wouldn't have dared to make so many mistakes in my life.
Is there a competition
Yeah.
moment? Is there a something that's made you sort of get that feeling, or maybe make you laugh?
Yeah. Oh, this is difficult because I don't want to like
Really?
I don't want to say anything like trivial because
No.
Yeah, because you know, everyone has embarrassing moments where you know they misspeak or they do something that like
I've got
a little
loads.
whoops. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
fair enough.
I'm gonna actually just say, you know what? I don't think there's anything that I've done that I've
you can't
truly,
stand for.
Yeah, truly like regretted doing.
That's great.
I've made a lot of mistakes. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong.
No,
Like
no,
I've
sure,
made a lot of
sure.
mistakes, but every single mistake has always led me to something else.
Fantastic.
So even the biggest mistakes has kind of led me to where I am today.
Yeah.
So I guess there's nothing to regret really.
Perfect. Well, that's a great answer.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the lovely coffee. Enjoy the lovely weather. And yeah, if you want to give yourself one last plug, it's all yours.
Drink better coffee. You owe yourself that. Drink better coffee. That's my plug.
Perfect. All right, mate. Thank you so much for your time. And enjoy coffee from Adrian.
Nice. And as for the behind the scenes, let's pack up and pretend that we're off to a new adventure.
Okay, cool.
I'm spilling a little bit.
That's fine. It's a bridge,
I'm just
and
gonna give you
sure
give you some more
the
coffee.
bridge can handle.
We're not going to waste this coffee.
No, we're not wasting it. No, not
This
at all.
coffee, just this brew costs around 60 kroners.
Really?
Yeah, just in the
Just-
raw material.
Just
of the
raw
coffee.
materials.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
So
That's crazy.
that's how expensive this coffee is.
Wow.
And yeah, people are willing to pay that
They are.
for a coffee, which is
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, I'm saying people. I did pay that.
Yeah, but you know how to brew it as well, right?
Yeah, I did pay that for this coffee, which means
Yeah.
I'm one of the idiots. But yeah,
Yeah, but I think there's a difference between a coffee enthusiast
yeah,
saying, you know what, I want this coffee because I've heard it tastes really good,
Yeah.
as opposed to you that knows how to brew it
Yeah.
and actually understands how
Yeah.
to make it work as well.
yeah. I mean,
So,
it's one of those things. Like most people in the coffee industry now, or at least like baristas, will not buy a geisha because it'll probably cost somewhere like 200 to 300 kroners per bag, and you won't even know if they've roasted it well enough.
Exactly.
Yeah, like if
Exactly.
you're unlucky, you'll get something that's not very good, and you've
Yeah.
just paid. Like you could have bought a bottle of wine.
Yeah,
for that
exactly.
money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
final minutes is just like experimenting.
Yeah.
Yep.
For I mean, if we're doing this again, it would be nice to kind of start walking, sit down, and then start walking again.
Okay.
We are off to the new adventures.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
So try an outro. Just experiment with.
Okay. Well, here we are with Adrian. Just finished up with Adrian, and
Yeah.
now we're off to a new adventure with the crew. And we're going to try and get out in the sun, maybe go on a little climbing adventure to
Yeah.
round off the day.
Yeah.
and maybe we'll get some more action there.
Perfect.
Do you climb?
I do.
Nice.
That's the only reason I said it.
I have a pair of climbing shoes lying in my cupboard at home. That,
Well, we're gonna have to use them.
That have started dusting down. They need
Okay.
they need some.
So you have climbed before?
Yes. When I was working at Godtbrød,
Yeah.
everyone there climbed.
Right.
So I
Fantastic.
thought, okay, I'll buy some climbing shoes and I'll join. And we went every week, and it was really nice.
Perfect.
And then after I swapped to Dromedar, we kept
Yeah.
on. I kept on doing it a little bit with the old gang. But then after a while, I just stopped going,
Yeah.
and then when you don't have anyone to go with, it kind of becomes harder and harder to
Yeah,
kind of,
exactly.
you know, grab the shoes, jump on the bike, and
Yeah.
go off climbing.
Because I climb all the time.
Yeah,
I haven't climbed since I've been injured, but
yeah.
the minute once my injury is done, then
Wow.
I'll definitely be climbing again.
Well, Emilienne.
Which
is
way
the-
do you go? Like,
Yeah,
we're all
just in
good.
this
Okay.
general
Good.
direction is fine.
Cool.
Yeah, Emilienne, who's the baker at Isak, he
Yeah.
also climbs quite a lot.
Yeah,
So
cool.
yeah,
Nice.
that would be fun. Just like get a
Yeah,
group together, go climbing.
We should.
Yeah.
Well, I used to take the guys from Jakobsen. Jukk
Yeah.
climbs. I
Yeah,
climb.
I know you does.
Yeah, there's a few of us that actually
Yeah.
go climbing, so it's always
Nice.
nice to get on the wall.
Yeah.
And now when it's summer, climbing out at Korsvika and
Yeah.
stuff like that, it's perfect.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So I'm always up for a bit of climbing.
If you see a trash can, let's dump out the.
Yes, well, there's a big
I'm
one.
not sure if this is
Resteval,
an
no.
approved
No Resteval.
place to throw it. Here we go. Oh, here we go. There's a trash can.
Oh, there's one.
Yeah. And just get rid of the soggy filter, and you can just dump it in there.
In the black one?
Yeah, just wherever.
Cool. There we go. Perfect. Nice one. This coffee was lovely. Do you want to have a little taste?
It's really good. Yeah, you should try it.
You should probably have a little taste. I only drank from that side.
Most expensive coffee in town right now.
No, you normally drink with milk, so
Yeah, this is the kind of coffee where you don't really miss milk or sugar
exactly.
because it tastes more like a tea.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is actually, it's a much darker roast than you would expect. Like this is basically what I roasted for espresso.
Oh, okay.
And the coffee doesn't really get bitter. Like it doesn't really.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I
But
find,
I've noticed
find
that.
it's more bitter when it's lighter roasted actually.
No, this is
More
lovely.
tea-like.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Nice.
Cheers.
So what's the plan? Do you want to?
Yeah, what is the plan?
Did you want to
Mr.
do another
Producer? So we can.
session, or do you want to?
Well, I think when we get back, we'll have a look at this one. I think it was
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
We want to put out things that promote you,
Yeah.
but also add excitement so people will watch.
Yeah.
So we'll watch it back, and I think it was good doing it
Yeah.
on the bridge and just chilling out and
Yeah, it was nice and
whatever.
informal and relaxing.
Exactly. So that's kind of the goal.
Yeah.
So if we're happy with that, then there it is, and we'll make a couple of clips for you, so you
Yeah.
can put on your website and
Yeah.
say we've done this podcast, and
Yeah. Nice.
as well.
Do you need
So-
me anymore?
No,
Or can I
don't
go
need
home
you
and
anymore.
roast?
You're
Yeah.
more than welcome to go
I'm
home and go to work. And
coffee is gonna get its launch in Oslo. There's a small guy. He calls himself Neon Grut.
Right.
He's got a little like a 3-wheel food truck. It's literally like a scooter with a coffee bar.
I think I know this guy.
He's pretty cool. So he drives around, sets it up,
Yep.
serves coffees on the street.
I'm friends
So
with
he's-
one of his friends called Kira,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
Kira is a coffee lover,
Yeah.
and he's also a personal trainer.
Nice.
And Kira and I were at a wedding together in Spain for a mutual best friend. So I got to know Kira, and he was telling me about a guy with a coffee bike.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that's.
Yeah. He's making waves in,
There you go,
in
mate.
Oslo.
Thank you.
Is it okay if I go home and I'll immediately edit it?
Yeah.
I have some other work as well.
Yeah, of
so-
course.
yeah.
But can we take 5 minutes
Okay.
as well?
Okay.
Cool. Microphone, yeah. Don't
Nice.
try and steal that
Yeah, I'm
microphone.
not gonna run off with it.
Those expensive mics that you want.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like the fuzzy hat.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much. Really, really good. And we can do it again.